Hello people, how you doing? Got a new review for you. This is the Yamaha EAD10 drum module, electric acoustic drum thing with the sensor with the two microphones and the trigger. I'm not going to go into excuse me, big detail about this module. I'll give a little couple highlights that I've found out. I've only had it since last week, played around with it, and I used it on the gig. That's one of the reasons I bought it. I saw a video from a guy who had it for a live setup with a little mixer, and I've been wanting to simplify and get a consistent in-ear mix, and this just seemed to fit the bill for me and the kind of gigs I'm doing now. A working drummer's review, right? So what I found with it was it sounds great with just a microphone. But when you start dialing in all the presets, some of the presets are cool, but I've made up my own presets, kind of took what they had and just adjusted some things that will work for me. I do have the snare trigger hooked up. You can hook up a snare trigger and then two other triggers as well if you got some pads or say you want to put triggers on the toms. So that's pretty cool. As far as the editing in this thing, I mean, you can go in there and just go to town. Like, you have all the parameters you can adjust, gains, volume, sensitivities, things like that for the triggers. You can go in and turn the level of the mic down and the triggers up, or vice versa. There's a little EQ section. You can boost the low end if you want for your headphones, if you need it, if they're not real bassy. What else that I'm finding out? Like I said, I'm still working with it, but oh yeah, so the snare sound and the cymbal sound, I mean, everything sounds good. It picks up the whole kit. If you keep your ride real low, it's going to be a little loud. So you may need to adjust that or deaden up the ride cymbal a little bit, especially when you add some compression, since it pulls everything down and up and makes it tighter together. So it'll make the cymbals a little washier. So that I noticed. And the snare sound, depending on the size of your kick drum, you got a 22, it's like right in the middle, depending on how high or low you set up your snare. It gets a nice blend of top and bottom, but you don't get that top snare sound of if you just mic the top snare, that real punchy, beefy thing. But when you add compression, it balances it out. And that's a cool thing about adding a snare trigger. You can dial in some of that with the snare trigger as well. But it's not necessary. I'm not always going to use this, but it comes in handy. Especially if I have to trigger a hand clap or something, I can do it right from the rim of the drum, and I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. But what else can I explain about it? That's about it. Super easy to set up, sounds really good, and I'll show you some different variations of some of the user presets I put in here, just so I could have them closer together when I need to find them live. If I want to switch real quick, and you got to go to like number 23, you're like, it's a little frantic. So I'm going to turn off this Talkback mic. That's another cool feature. I just realized this. It's got a Talkback mic that you can turn on and off. So when I go to play, I'll turn it off. So that's pretty cool. I just figured that out. And I'm using the Wreck and Share app. Got it hooked to through a USB cable to my phone, camera adapter kit, and so we'll see how I like that as well. So this is the first for a lot of things. But I'll get into some playing and show you the different things this can do. All right, check this out. So this first patch I'm going to do is going to be just the microphones only. And then I'll add some stuff in. This is just microphones only. Cymbal. All right. So now we're going to try. I'm going to add another patch that I made up, which is the same one, but I added some kick and snare triggers, a little bit of compression, and a little bit of reverb, and I call that undry. Check this out. figuring things out as we go here. All right, so I'll run through a couple of the other more settings I've set up for different things, and then I'll wrap it up. This one's just a general live setting. It's like a go-to I could start out with and then adjust from there. A little bit of reverb, compression, maybe kick trigger, maybe a couple little triggers. It's similar to that last one. A little hip hop. What else we got? We got straight up compression, no kick trigger, no snare trigger. I like this one a lot. This one's called Dirty. So there you have it, a little good sample of stuff. Man, I'll tell you, it works really good. Your in-ears always sound good. You get your own settings, something you like, the amount of reverb, and all that can be adjusted on the fly. You don't have to go into the menu settings. I forgot to mention this, but there's 3 dials here: reverb, effect, trigger, and that's how you adjust your level. So you could be in a patch, be like, oh, the kick trigger's too loud, and when you hit that adjusts the kick volume. So I hit that, and I can turn the kick trigger volume down. Oh, sorry about that. I just figured that out. I can't do that while I'm talking it back. But I can hit the kick trigger, hit the bass drum, adjust the level of the kick trigger, hit the snare trigger, and adjust that. It switches as you hit the drum. It selects it. So, yeah, so there you go. I hope you like it. I'm digging this thing, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something to get inspired. And it has a click track inside of it. Forgot to mention that. I'll throw that in there real quick. So you could route the click to just your phones and use this if you like to play to a click live. Just, you can't program different, like a set list in there, but you know, if you have time to adjust your click track, you can use your click track on this and not route it out to you, just route it to yourself. So there's all that stuff in there you can mess around with, and it's really cool. So hope you enjoyed the review from a working drummer perspective, and like and subscribe if you dig it, and thanks for watching. Peace.